All right, let's jump right in. This is your Daily X report for Friday, September 5th, 2025. So here's a look at what went down on X yesterday, September 5th. And wow, it was a big one. We're talking huge milestones in AI, some really intense global debates, and of course, a few viral moments you won't want to miss. So what were the big headlines? Well, Grok 4 hit number 1. XAI announced a huge expansion into Seattle. SpaceX absolutely crushed a 500 launch milestone. And Community Notes got a serious upgrade. A lot to cover, so let's get into it. Okay, so let's kick things off with the absolutely wild pace of innovation we saw from XAI and SpaceX. Seriously, yesterday it felt like the future just decided to show up a little early. First up, Grok 4 is now officially number 1 on the FutureX prediction benchmark. And you know, this is a huge deal. We're not just talking about it acing some abstract test. No, this is about Grok getting scary good at predicting actual real-world events. I mean, just think about what that means for, well, everything, from the stock market to global supply chains. And they're not slowing down. Right on the heels of that news, XAI announced they're opening a new office in Seattle. It's a pretty clear sign, right? They're on the hunt for the absolute best engineers to keep pushing the boundaries of AI. Then, there was this one number that was just everywhere. 500. Just a massive, massive milestone. But what was it for? Get this, 500 successful orbital launches and landings for SpaceX. That is just, wow. It's an incredible showcase of their absolute dominance in reusable rocket tech. Every single one of those is another step toward making us a multi-planetary species. Just historic stuff. And the cool thing is, these big AI breakthroughs aren't just happening in a lab somewhere. They're already being put into the hands of creators. Grok rolled out some amazing new tools. We're talking adding speech to videos, turning an image into a video with just one tap, and even summarizing entire podcast transcripts. If you're making content on X, your toolbox just got a major upgrade. All right, so with all this amazing new tech, how's the platform itself changing? Well, yesterday brought some key updates. The focus? Improving conversations and, you guessed it, the creator economy. The big update here was for Community Notes. They introduced something called Requestor Helpfulness Scores. Look, the main takeaway here is speed. It's all about surfacing the most important notes way faster to make the fight against misinformation more nimble and, well, more effective. But okay, let's talk about the money side of things. The platform's economy is always a hot topic, and yesterday really showed us two sides of the same coin. So, how are creators and advertisers feeling? It's a real tale of two cities, you know? On one hand, you had creators feeling pretty good. They were talking about the Creator Revenue Program, and there was a lot of buzz about new features, like maybe getting paid for profile visits. But then, on the flip side, the conversation was all about a bigger advertising slump, with some reports saying marketers might be cutting their spending. Of course, X is way more than just its own ecosystem. It's really the world's town square. And yesterday was a perfect example of that, with some huge breaking news and a story that sparked a massive global debate. First up, this economic bombshell just dropped out of Canada. A loss of over 65,000 jobs in August. And as you can imagine, the reaction on X was instant. Just a flood of conversations about what this means for the economy. And then, this story broke. New details came out about a secret U.S. military mission in North Korea back in 2019. Reports claimed it led to civilian casualties, and wow, that just ignited a firestorm of calls for accountability and transparency. At the same time, the story of a teacher named Enoch Burke absolutely exploded. He was fined for not using a student's preferred pronouns, and this just kicked off a huge global debate right there on the platform. It was this massive collision of ideas around free speech, religion, and personal rights. Okay, so after all that heavy stuff, let's lighten it up a bit. Because X isn't just about big debates, right? So what was the vibe? What actually went viral yesterday? Let's take a look. Honestly, yesterday's feed was that perfect kind of chaos. You had everything from super sharp political memes going after UK policies to creators having a blast trying to break Grok's new speech demos with some hilarious results. People were celebrating X hitting the top of the App Store charts, and of course, sharing those wonderfully weird, no-context clips and money glitches that you can only really find on X. So after a day like that, you gotta ask, what's next? let's look at what's on the horizon, because yesterday definitely set some things in motion. So, here's what we're watching. A huge Grok image and video upgrade is supposedly dropping in the next couple of weeks. Community Notes is going to keep expanding, and we're probably going to see some changes to creator monetization based on all this feedback. And hey, everyone's getting hyped for the upcoming blood moon eclipse. It's a lot to track. And that's a wrap on yesterday's action. This report was brought to you by nakedgreat.com. Make sure you subscribe, and we'll be back tomorrow with the latest. See you then.
The Daily X Report.